why I just forget to pack it, so you need to pack the frame also. Task frame dot pack fill is equal tk dot x and padding is equal 5. Now task entry dot delete now I have to run the update serial function, which I didn't create yet, but I will create it. Update serial, because whatever number are showing on this widget, I need to update those once I will add a task. And update task count. As I have called this function, so I need to also create this. Let's create our function. Just create it here. Defining update serial number function. I am adding a command so that you can understand it. Update the canvas to reflect the new task. So whenever I will be adding a task, it will be updated. Now just configure it. Canvas dot configure and scroll region is equal canvas dot bbox. Write all. So I have completed this function. There is nothing left for adding in this function. So whenever I will be clicking on this add task button, all these will be running in the background. It will check for if there is a task or not. If not, then this will happen. If there is a task, then it will goes like this. It will be creating all these buttons and widgets, and it will also run this function, which is update serial number and update task count. So it will run this function. Now I need to write the function for index task frame in enumerate task container dot info children. Now task level underscore label is equal task frame dot info children, and index will be 0. Task level dot cget text. Task text will be updated to this. Task label config. Now I'll be using string literal index +1 dot task next task text. There was a typo mistake, so I have fixed it. It might be a bit complicated for the beginners, but don't worry, I will explain what I have done here. This function actually updates the serial number of a task. Like while adding a task or deleting a task, you can see that this is our goal, and all the tasks should be in a serial sequence. Like the first task will be 1, then 2, then 3 and 4 and so on. So to make it possible, I have used this function. So what it will do is it will fetch all the data from this task container. Okay, so the first task level will be under this task frame, and I am using winfo children because it can fetch all the inner levels from this task frame. So 0 means it is the first index. So whatever value is in first place, like for this case this is the 0 index, so it will check the level, and if in that particular text if it finds dot and a space after that, then it will do this, it will perform this action. It will simply split the string and it will add a +1 with it. Otherwise just check it, you can see it here. After this dot there is a space, after the dot there is a space, so it can detect it and it will add +1 with the index value, so that it can go on smoothly with this maintaining this sequence. And after this value I will be putting the dot, like 1 dot, then 2 dot, then 3 dot. You can see I have called a function named update task count, but I haven't declared this function yet, so I need to declare it. So I'll create it here, defining update task count function. Now I'll complete this function first. Delete all task. For widget in task container .winfo children then I'll destroy it and I'll call update task count function. Now create the update task count function. I'll create a variable for total task. So I am going to move this part. This is the total task, remaining task and complete task. It actually also be using here like delete task. So just check it. Total task is equal length of task container dot info children. That's all. Now done tasks, I'll count this one. It will be summation of whatever I am clicking on done button for task frame. In task container dot info children. If over strike in task frame, I missed the underscore dot info children. Then our index value, this should be 0 and dot cget. Don't worry about the codes because all the codes will be given in the description box. You can check the video description and just copy the codes if you wish. Now remaining tasks should be, that's a typo. It will be simply total task minus done task. So this will be our remaining task. I am using total task level dot config. If you can remember, I have created this total task level here in the first part of this video. This is total task level. So now I am going to update the value. Just find it. Yes, I got it. Total task level dot config text is equal f. I am using string literal so that I can put a variable value in this string and then get the value of total tasks. Then remaining task level dot config, and inside this I'll do the same thing. Text is equal f string remaining tasks. Inside this curly braces I will be putting the remaining task value, and now it's time for done tasks dot config and text is equal to, I'll just copy it, completed task, done task. Now it's time to update the chart. I will just simply call this function, but I haven't created this function yet, so I will create it. I will pass these arguments: update tasks, total tasks, and remaining task, and done tasks. Now I will define this function. Function to update the pie chart. Update pie chart. Total tasks, remaining tasks, and done tasks. So these are our parameters for this function. So I will clear my previous pie chart so that it does not take extra memory, because if you have worked with Matplotlib previously, then you can understand it. After creating 20 charts, it gives you a warning regarding the memory usage. Or widget in pie chart frame, w info children, then I will destroy the widget. Now if total tasks is 0, then I will return nothing, because there is no task. No task to display. Now it's time to create a new pie chart here. This is the first time I am creating the pie chart in our window. Previously I have created the frame for this pie chart. Now I am going to create it. So for that I will be adding the labels first. For completed, just make it capital, completed tasks and remaining tasks. Then I will put the sizes here just like this, done tasks and remaining task, because I don't need to mention the total task here, because the whole circle, if you look at this pie chart, the whole circle is the total number of tasks. So I just need to add completed task and remaining task. So I have added completed task. This is the completed task and this is the remaining task. Now I have to set the colors. I will be using green and yellow. You can use color picker tool if you wish to change the color. Explode is equal 0.1 and 0. This means I will explode the first slice as completed tasks. Now I need to think about figure. Now it's time to plot the subplots. Fig size is equal 5 and 3, and I will set the DPI as 100. You can adjust the size and DPI as needed, so you can change it. Now pick dot patch dot set face color. Okay, I got it. Now I have to set the face color, which is going to be 0D1525. So it will just for matching the background color with our Tkinter background color. So you can see there is a chart, and this type of frame is there. Like it's not circular, the frame is actually a rectangular frame, but the default color of the frame is white. So if I don't change it to match our background color of Tkinter, it will looks like this is a separate thing from this window. So to match the background color with our Tkinter background color, I have used this color. Now ax.py, create the pie chart, sizes, explode is equal explode, and colors is equal colors, and auto opacity it should be 1.1 percentage. I'll add a shadow, so set the shadow to true, and start angle should be 140. Now define the axis. So I have set it equal so that it becomes circle. Now it's time to add legend. It is again not necessary. Legend is nothing but this part. You can see this is completed task and this is remaining task. If you wish, you can ignore it, but I am adding it. You can follow my tutorial. X dot legend levels lock is equal best. It's time to embed the pie chart into Tkinter. So just comment it, embed the pie chart into Tkinter. Let's take a variable for our chart, and if you can remember, I had already imported it at the beginning of our program. You can check it. So this time I will be using it inside this function. I will take these parameters, which I have already created. Now it's time to draw it. We can use this draw method. Now we have to pack it. Now just plot it. So here I have plotted our graph or pie chart in the Tkinter frame, and this is for closing the figure that we have just drawn, so that it will not take extra memory on our machine. You will not realize the issue of not doing this line, but if you create a lot of chart like 1000, 2000, in that case you must need to release the memory so that it will not be a burden to your machine. Now we have to complete our save task button. So let's me explain the save task button function. Whenever I will be clicking on this save task button, this will create a new text file here in the same directory. You can also change the directory if you wish, but for this example I will be creating a .txt file in this area, in this directory, and in that text file whatever task I have been storing or adding, those will be saved in that text file line by line. So suppose I have 3 tasks, so all those 3 tasks will be saved in this text file, and whenever I will be clicking on load button, it will be fetching all the data from the text file and be placed in the task level section. So that's our logic. So let's create it. This is file handling operation in Python. I need to create a for loop so that I can go through all the rows. So it will allow us to go through all the tasks that we have inserted in our program. Task frame. So I am going to use index here. So in this for loop, I will iterate through all the tasks like this. It will start with 0 index. So this will be our first task. Then we'll go up to the last task that we have inserted in our program. Let's create another variable. Now I will fetch the task as a text and I'll split it. Task level dot cget now I'll use f string so that I can put variable in this. Task done, and I will give it a line break. So each task will be saved as a new line in our text file. I think I made some mistake, syntax error. Oh, I forgot to put the quotation. Okay, that's all. Now I have to show the message box whenever I will be clicking on save task button. So to complete this, I will use the message box dot show info, and I can put my message here. Save tasks, task have been saved successfully. I have created this save task function, and now it's time for load task function. But before that, I'll like to explain you what I have done in this function so that you can understand it. So at first, whenever the user will click on save task button, it will run this function, and inside this function I will either create this file if there is no file like that. So in that directory, if there is no file with this name, then it will automatically create a new file with this name in write mode, and then I will start a for loop, and it will be iterating through all the tasks that I have added. You can just see the screenshot. I'm not sure where I have stored it. Okay, I get it. So you can see our final window would be like this. So there are 6 number of tasks. So I would like to create a text file where this task will be stored in such a way that there will be only the task name, and after using a separator there will be a boolean value like 0 or 1. So I can consider 0 as completed task and 1 as incomplete task. So whenever I will be fetching the data from text file, I can easily understand it what is a completed task and what is not. Okay, so our text file should be look like this. Suppose I have a task dinner, then I want it to look like this dinner, and this is not completed, so this value will be 0. If it's completed, it will be 1. So that's our logic. So you can see I have taken a variable task done. So 1 if overstrike. Oh, I have a typo. If overstrike means that is done. So if the task is done, then it will be 1, and else if it's not, then it will be 0. and there will be a separator like this. So this is our final write line. So our task test will be there without that serial number, because I don't need to have any serial number before the task whenever I am saving the task in a text file, because while fetching I can read line by line. So Python will automatically detect the line number, so you don't have to worry about this. Then after using this, I will paste task done here and create a new line. New line means each task will be saved in a new line. Now let's move to the load task function. Let's use a try block first, and under this try block I will open the same file that I just created, which is task.txt, and I will open it as a reading mode. For line in file task text task done is equal to line dot strip, and then simply split it with the same separator. Now add task if task is done. Then task frame is equal task container dot info children will be -1. Task label is equal task frame dot winfo children, and this will be 0. Now done button is equal to task frame dot winfo So I am only just restoring the task one by one from the text file here, and also updating our mark as done. Now it's time to run this function. As you can see, I am using a try block, so I must need to declare the except also. So except file not found error. In this case, if there is no file like that, just pass it. Now you can see I have called this function mark as done here, and in the add task function also mark as done and delete task. Those are created, but those are called, this function are called but yet not created. So I need to create this function. So def mark as done, I need to create this function. Let's comment it out. Defining mark as done and I also need to define this, defining delete task function. So just declare it, delete task. So I need to complete this function. In mark as done, I can write task level dot config is equal to gray, font is equal, I will simply copy it, and I need to overstrike it. So whenever a task will be marked, the text will be grayed out and there will be a overstrike or a line just to cross the text. Now done button, dot config image is equal done icon. Don't worry about this done icon because I haven't created this yet, but in the next step I will do those. State is equal tk dot just make it green. So once this button will be clicked, it will be automatically disabled, like you can't click it after that, and it will also update our task count. This function has been already created. Now delete task function, task frame dot destroy, and it will run update serial number function. We need to update the serial number because the next task will take place of the deleted task. Like if I delete number 2 task, then number 3 task will become number 2 task. Then also update task count. You can check the output screenshot that I am aiming to get. So you can see whenever I am clicking on this done button, this is marked as done and the text is striked out. Okay, so that's what I did here. The font is overstrike now and the font color is also in gray. From white I have turned it into gray. So that's what I have done in this mark is done. And for delete, if I click on delete, it will update the serial number, because if I delete this walk, then the coding will be getting the serial number of 2, and it will also update the remaining task, completed task, all the total task. I need to update these 2. So I will call this function and update the task count also, and I need to take parameter this task level and done button. There's a typo, just fix it, and here I need to take this parameter That's all. Now it's time to complete our final step, which is regarding this icons. So this is our final step. So let's comment out. Defining function to deal with images. Images means you can see there are only two image files, this delete icon and this done icon. You can see I have already pasted the icons in the same directory as png file. Don't worry, you will get this file in the description link. So let's define it. The images are big enough to fit in that particular portion, so I need to resize this. So I'll create a resize function. So I'll take these parameters here: image path, size, background color, and to match the background color I'll do something like this: 31, 21, 37. This is the RGB value of the hex code. So I converted the hex code to this RGB value so that it matches our background. You can also do it like this. You can just copy the background color and just convert hex to RGB. You can paste your hex code here and you can see the RGB value. So actually this is nothing but this hex color code putted as RGB value. Now with image.open, I'll open the image path and it will be as image file. Now create a new image with a background color. bg is equal image dot new. Now it's RGBA image dot size and background color. That's all. Now image is equal bg dot, let's resize it, size it should be in capital. I am not getting it, so there's might be some mistake. Let's check it out. I guess I forgot to put a semicolon here. Okay, I'll look into this later on. So this is resizing the image with a background color. I have created the image, but I need to paste it on top of the background that I just created. So to do that I need to use paste image 0 So I can comment it like this: pasting the original image on top of our background. Now it's time to return image tk dot photo image. Now the final two lines are remaining. I need to call this function so that I can resize them. So in done icon, I'll store the image in this way, resize image, and I'll pass the image path first. You can see the parameters here. The first parameter is image path. So this is in the same directory, so I need to write only the file name. This is done icon, so done icon dot png. You can see the file name here. Now 20 and then this is the 2020 is the height and width for image file. Background color, actually this is not the height or width of our image file. I want the image to be in this size, so that's why I written that. Now have to pass the background color code in RGB format. That's all. Now it's time for delete icon, but most probably this is almost more than 200 line of codes. Okay, so if I run it, there's a huge chance that I will be getting error, but don't worry, it's normal. Whenever you will be this is a GUI application, so you don't have all the scope to check and run your program each time, because there's a lot of function and you have to create those before you run those function. So if you get any error, you don't have to worry about it. You can check the line numbers and fix those manually. Delete icon. Actually getting error is a normal thing and it's good. You will get to know what kind of mistakes you are generally making, so it will improve your skill. 2020 background color is equal 13, 21, 37. So I have done everything. Like I have created, let's check it once. I have created our window, sized it and then configure it. I have handled our icons and I have created all the functions and completed those. So it's time to run our program. Just click on the run button. You can see the output here. So let's check it if everything is all right or not. I'll first wake up. Okay, I get this error. Non-time object has an attribute get. This is on line number 43. So let's check it. So you can see this is in white, so there must be something that is not right here. So I'll check for it. Control F and find it. Here also in delete this is white. So this is the place where I made this mistake. I didn't know that earlier. You can't pack it like this, it might trouble. Just task entry, just check it once, just copy it, now remove it, now task entry dot, now paste it. Now if I run this, you can see there is no error right now. Let's add a task. I will wake up. Okay, these buttons are working, but you can see the icons are not side by side as my expectation. So I need to look into this. So let's look for delete icon. Okay, this is our delete button. So I guess I need to pack it at the side. So I'll remove this pack option from here and pack it like this. Delete button dot pack. Side is equal, so I'll pack it at the right side. X is equal 5. I'll do the same thing with this done button also. I'll remove the pack and done button dot pack. Here I'll also keep it at the right align. Tk dot right pad x is equal 5. So now give it a try again. Now you can see there is no error for now. Just add a task. Yes, the position is now correct. Hello. And but I can't save the text. Actually the file is saving, but this is not what I expected, so there must be some error. I'll figure it out. You can see the console module Tkinter message has not reviewed, show info. Okay, let's fix it. Let's run it again. Just write hello. You can see in the console I got my first error, which is non-time object has no attribute config. So check the line number, it's 89. So just go to line number 89. You can see here I am getting the error, so just copy it. Now just find it here. You can see the issue is with the pack method that I am using. So I'll simply pack like this, total task level dot pack pad A is equal to now I'll do the same with the rest of the levels. Remaining task level dot pack pad A is equal to, and with also this one done task level dot pack pad A is equal to. So let's run it again. You can see that this is working now, and if I add more task, then you can see, let's check the pie chart if it's working or not. Yes, it's working fine. I can also delete it, so everything is working fine. Now let's check the save task function. So if I am clicking on save task, this is where I am getting error, so I'll fix it now. You can see Tkinter message box has no attribute show in box. This is a built-in function, so there must be some mistake that I am making. So let's fix it. Here in our program, message box. So there's no error in this line. Now I'll check it. Oh, you can see there's a typo, a small typo. So I think now it should work. Just run it. You can see now I'll test everything. Just add some tasks and now save task. You can see tasks have been saved successfully. So I'll just delete all. Now load task. It's loading, but here's an extra single braces, so I need to fix that. It must be in the save task function. That's where I am saving my text file. So let's check it. Oh, here's the extra bracket. Now let's remove it and run it. And saving it. Now save text. Now check the text file. It's absolutely what I expected and it's fine. Now just delete all tasks, load task, it's working fine. Now I have to check the scroll bar if it's working fine or not. So just let's insert a lot of tasks. Now you can save this task and load again. Now you can see the scroll bar. Here it says working fine. You can use your mouse wheel as well as you can also drag it like this. This will be working fine. I hope this video helped you to understand how this type of application build. You can add a lot of extra features like whenever someone will complete a task, he or she will get an email regarding the completion, or he will get notified for the remaining task periodically using cron job and SMTP server. There's a scope that you can modify this application as per your requirement. So that's all for today, and if you like this video, then please do subscribe to this channel